Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's me Prasanna Tripathi from Learning Zone, and today I'm gonna share you a science lesson. It is all about the chemical equation and reaction, which is the first lesson of chemistry chapter, chemistry session. Then let us begin this class. Okay, at first we'll discuss about what is chemical reaction, right? Okay, a chemical reaction is simply the process in which one or more new substances are formed, and it cannot be reversed by physical methods, or it is a permanent change, we can tell. And here chemical change, you can see there are two types. There are physical change and chemical change. And here a chemical change is the type of change in which one or more new substances are formed, and it is the permanent change, right? And it has new physical and chemical properties too. Okay, here is one example of iron plus or ferric plus copper sulfate, which is blue in color. It is aqueous, and AQ stands for aqueous. Here it means that its solvent is water. Then here ferric sulfate is formed. Here this ferric sulfate also has displaces the ferric, as also displaced the sulfate from the copper sulfate solution, which is the aqueous solution, and it formed ferric sulfate and copper, which is solid. Now these solid aqueous are the physical names which are provided. And here you can see when copper sulfate reacts with iron, two new substances are formed: ferrous or ferric sulfate and copper, right? Then, and now we'll discuss about the physical change. Physical change only stands for the change in color or state, but does not occur a new substance, and it is not a permanent change too, right? Like when we boil water, it is changed into steam, but no new thing is formed, right? And here in the example too, I have kept this. You can see this. And now let us discuss about the observation that help to determine a chemical reaction. And the observations are that it may include, or we can determine it by the following ways: that is, change in color, change in state, change in temperature, evolution of gas, and the formation of precipitate. Here the precipitate term stands for a solid that emerges from liquid solution, or you can also say that insoluble, right? Insoluble solid that emerges from liquid solution is called precipitate. It is a new term. Okay, now here we'll discuss about the definition of chemical reaction. Here you can see that chemical reaction are chemical changes in which the reactants transform into products by making or breaking of bonds between the different atoms. You cannot simply say that chemical reaction is simply a process in which one or more substances are formed, and it is a permanent change, and it is chemical change, right? If it's permanent. Then now let us discuss about the types of chemical reactions. Then there are many types of chemical reactions. They are combination, decomposition, redox reaction, and exothermic reaction, and displacement reaction. Displacement reaction includes the single displacement and double displacement reaction too. Now let us move downward. Then okay, we'll discuss about what is a word equation, right? Word equation. Then a word equation is a chemical reaction expressed in words rather than chemical formulas. Like the type of reaction which is the type of equation which is expressed in word rather than writing in chemical formulas is known as word equation. Now let us move towards its example can be a sodium and chlorine. It should be written in word, right? And here sodium and chloride are reacting with each other to form a sodium chloride. Okay, now what is symbol? Symbol is just the abbreviation form of an element, right? It is the short form of an element. Each element has one or two letter atomic symbol, like helium He has two letters and hydrogen H has one letter, which is the abbreviated form of its name, right? Here helium in helium HELium, so there He has come, and hydrogen H, the first letter has kept. And valency, okay, valency is the combining capacity of an element, right? You can also add here with other element or radical, right? It is the combining capacity of it is simply the combining capacity of an element with the other element or radical, and it can be considered as the number of electrons lost or gained. It might be shared too by an atom when it combines with another atom to form a molecule. Yes, it combines with another atom to form a molecule. Like there are many words which valence electrons may come. Valence electrons are the outer those electrons which are in the outermost shell of an atom are called as valence electrons, and valence shell is the outermost shell of an atom or an element, right? Okay, now we'll discuss about the balanced chemical equations at first. And what is balance equation? Balanced chemical equation, the type of chemical equation, or you can simply say the process of making equal number of atoms in both products and reactant side is known as balanced chemical equation. And you can be little confused in reactants and products, but we have already read it in grade 1892. And reactants are the substances which take part in chemical reaction, and these are the resultant or the products. Products are the substances which are produced in a chemical reaction. Okay, and here the zinc and dilute sulfuric acid has dilute hydrosulfuric acid has been reacted to form zinc sulfate and hydrogen. And here zinc sulfate and hydrogen are the products, whereas zinc and dilute hydrosulfuric acid are the reactants. Now let us discuss about the need of balancing chemical reaction, right? Okay, what is the need of balancing the chemical reaction? Okay, the need of balancing the chemical reaction is that is the law of conservation of mass states that the matter can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction, right? According to the law of conservation of mass, no atoms can be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. So therefore the number of electrons or atoms for each element in the reactant side has to balance the number of atoms that are present in the product side. All right, so we cannot create or destroy any atom in the chemical reaction. So the number of atoms should be balanced in both reactants and product sides. Now one step I have mentioned for balancing the chemical equation, and it is heat and trial method. While balancing the equation, change the coefficients. The number coefficient means the number in front of the compound or molecule, as we all know that, so that the number of atoms of each element is same on the product and reactant side of the chemical equation, right? Like here we have been balancing hydrogen plus oxygen, and here here it has been 4 atoms of hydrogen, so here we have put 2 to make balance, right? Now let us discuss about the types of chemical reactions. And there are different types of chemical reactions, and some of the types I have mentioned here. And first one is combination reaction. Combination reaction is one of the type of chemical reaction in which two or more elements or reactants combine to form a single product. Okay, here it can be written in the form of a plus b means two or more than two. It might be forming a single only a single product, right? Now here are its examples, like hydrogen plus chlorine. You can see all the examples here. Right, now let us discuss about the decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction is the opposite of combination reaction. I mean to say that the single reactant splits or decomposes in on the application of heat, light, or electricity. Here heat means that is thermal, and light means it is on sunlight. You can put here sunlight, right? It is sunlight and sunlight, and electricity means it is electrolytic, right? It is electrolytic, which means electricity. It is including, like, it in this a single reactant splits to form two or more products, right? Now its form is just opposite, A equals to B plus C. I have written one reactant splits into two or more than two products. Now let us discuss about the types. I have already shown you that the thermal decomposition or thermolysis, and which means in the thermal decomposition here means which in the presence of heat, and electrolytic means in the presence of electricity, and the photolytic means in the presence of sunlight, right? And now we'll discuss about the displacement reaction. Displacement reaction is a type of chemical reaction in which a reactant is in a reactant side there are if there are two or more elements, then you can see here zinc and copper sulfate are reacting with each other, which has produced the zinc sulfate. Here the sulfate of copper is displaced by zinc in its own from its own solution to itself in zinc, right? So more reactive element displaces the lower reactive element from its compound or own solution, right? And here you can also say that the less reactive element is displaced by the more reactive element from its own solution, right? And now how to know that more reactive element which is the less reactive element? So to know this, you can simply look at the reactivity series or activity series, and you can check that, right? Or you can also know that metals, if the atomic size is more in metals, there is the less reactivity, and vice versa in non-metals, right? Okay, let us discuss about the double displacement reaction, the reaction in which new compounds are formed by mutual exchange of ions, right? There is exchange and mutual exchange. You can write mutual exchange of ions between the reactants takes place to give a new product, right? The reaction in which new compounds are formed by mutual exchange of ions between two compounds. Now you can see here I had told the word which was named as precipitate. Then you can also see its precipitation reaction means an insoluble compound called precipitate means an insoluble solid that emerges from a liquid solution, right? Forms when two solutions containing soluble salts are combined. If two solutions containing soluble salts are combined to each other, then a precipitate is formed, which is known as precipitation reaction, and no need to discuss it more. Okay, now redox reaction, it is very much important. And here redox reaction means that both oxidation and reduction has take place. Now what is oxidation and what is reduction, right? Oxidation means adding oxygen and or removing S2 hydrogen. Then reduction means that adding of hydrogen and removing of oxygen, right? And I have also prepared here, see, you can see here oxidation and reduction, gains electrons or loses oxygens. Here you can simply write that losing oxygen and gaining hydrogen, reduction means, and oxidation means it's vice versa. And oxidizing agent means a substance that oxidizes another substance and self gets reduced is called as oxidizing agent. And the another is the reducing agent, which is a substance that reduces another substance and self gets oxidized, right? Okay, you can see few examples of this. Now here we'll discuss about the on the basis of temperature the chemical reaction is divided into two types. They are endothermic reaction and exothermic reaction, right? Exothermic reaction means the reaction in which heat is released along with the formation of product is called exothermic reaction. Like heat is evolved during a reaction. Most of the combination reactions are exothermic. Here I have written, and you can also write that heat is evolved during a reaction with product, right? With product. You can write here are some examples, and here CH4 plus O2, which has been here, you can only see here the heat is released, right? It is released. Now let us discuss about the endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction is the reaction in which the heat is required to carry out the reaction, like the reaction which need energy in the form of heat, not only heat, but it can be in the form of sunlight, or it can be in the form of electricity too. Here only heat is written because in sunlight also heat is present, in electricity also some amount of heat is present, so here it's written only heat. Now you can also see this example, carbon dioxide plus water. When it reacts with sunlight, when it reacts in sunlight, then it forms glucose C6H12O6 and oxygen, right? You can see here most of the decomposition reactions are endothermic. You can give the examples of decomposition reactions in this endothermic reaction too. Now let us discuss about corrosion. Corrosion means I'll tell you in a simple way that the corrosion is when a metal is exposed into the substance such as moisture, air, water, etc. for some times, then a layer of oxides, the layer of oxides covers a metal, which weakens a metal, and the metal which is this process is known as corrosion, whereas the metal is known as corrode, in which the corrosion took place, right? Now rusting of iron, green coating on copper, black coating on iron, or silver also, it better to write silver, black coating on silver are some examples of corrosion. And here in the moisture from air, here all the other agents has took place, right? Here green and rusting it had been. Now let us talk about the rancidity. Rancidity is same like as corrosion, but it is the oxidation in food, right? It refers to the oxidation of fats and oils in food that is kept for a long time like oxidized, like you can say that it which is exposed to air for a long time too. Now let us discuss about it. It gives some foul smell and bad taste to the food. Rancid food causes stomach infection and consumption and stomach infection it may cause. So, and here one question may be asked about this, like why there is nitrogen gas in the to preserve the food, you can say it. Like in the street foods, there is nitrogen. Like in the packed foods, there have been using of nitrogen to prevent from the rancidity, right? So you can also look at the prevention use of airtight containers packing with nitrogen, right? Like the chocolates and other junk foods are packed with nitrogens, and so it is packed with nitrogen to prevent from rancidity, right? Okay, and you can also refrigerate the food to prevent from rancidity and addition of antioxidants or preservatives, which may be harmful to our health too. So now this much for today, and I hope you that you all understand well. And if you haven't liked and subscribed my channel, then please do it.